On the second day of my stay in Ujjain, when I visited the Harsiddhi temple, I met an unusual looking man. He was sitting on a bench inside the temple grounds while I was walking around and taking photos of the outside the temple. I asked if I could take his photo. He smiled and said okay. Then I asked him why he was dressed like that. He told me that he was a brahmachari. He explained, we started talking. He asked me which temple I have visited. I told him I hadn't been able to enter Mahakaleshwar temple. And he said, I can show you another temple, very near, only 5 minutes away from here. I asked, what temple is it? He said, Kal Bhairav temple. I said, okay, I want to see it. Please show me. Let's go. So we took a rickshaw. As we got out, I noticed something strange. Along the road, people were buying small bottles from little stalls. At first I thought they were buying usual temple offerings, flowers, incense, sweets maybe. But what are the bottles? I asked him, what are they buying? He answered, whisky, liqueur. I was so surprised. I said, whisky for the temple? He said, yes, for Kal Bhairav. I thought maybe it was a tradition at this temple to make such offerings. So I said, okay, let's go and buy a few bottles too. But I remember I was thinking, what a strange offering for a temple. Then we entered the temple grounds and we saw a long queue of people. I don't even know how many people were waiting. You can see it yourself. Many people was carrying a bottle. We joined the line. After more than an hour, we finally reached the shrine. Taking pictures inside was not allowed. The priests worked incredibly fast. They took the offerings from people, one after another, very fast. Each bottle was offered to Kal Bhairav, and somehow the whiskey disappeared. The whiskey was taken as a part of ritual, leaving the empty bottles behind. The priest opened the bottle and poured the whiskey directly over the deity. It didn't simply pool around the statue or run onto the floor. I remember I was wondering, where did it go? Started joking, saying, wow, he drank all that whiskey, he drinks too much. Suddenly the brahmachari stopped, turned towards me and said, promise me, you will never drink alcohol in your life. Never. I was laughing and saying, what? It was such an unusual and naive request. I said, no, I will not. I thought he was joking and I tried to continue my walk. He stopped me. No, please, promise me. I said, what? Never? He said, yes, all your life. I laughed again. I said, I don't even like alcohol. I don't drink strong alcohol. Very, very occasionally I drink little bit wine, that's it. And then I tried to walk again. He stopped me again, standing in front of me, his palm stretched towards me, and he again saying, please, please, promise me you will never drink again. I started laughing. I couldn't understand why he is asking that. Then I could see he was really serious. I said, look, wait a minute. We both just came from Kal Bhairav temple. Everyone is offering bottle of whiskies to him. So for you it's perfectly fine if he drinks. Why should I be punished for that? I said, it's not fair, really. You are asking me to stay sober for the rest of my life just because he drinks too much? It's him, not me. This is absurd. He was not listening, just standing there and saying, please, please, please again. I was a little bit confused. So meanwhile he was waiting for a promise, I started analyzing. Did I miss something? Maybe I don't know the full story of Kal Bhairav. Maybe something terrible happened to him after drinking. Maybe that's the lesson. But then I was thinking, no, not possible, impossible. Because if alcohol was the problem, why we had just spent hours standing in a queue where everyone was carrying whiskey or liqueur as an offering? I couldn't figure out. If drinking had ruined Kal Bhairav's life, people probably wouldn't still be drinking whiskey for him. Nothing made sense anymore. I looked at him. He was looking at me with such sincere, pleading eyes that I couldn't keep arguing. I started to realize this matters deeply to him. Maybe he genuinely believed that he was helping me. Maybe he had simply decided to save me. Eventually, I gave up. So I placed my hand in his hand and promised. He was very, very happy. Meanwhile, I was thinking, what I have done. What a big mistake to come here. India.